Hi, thanks for joining. I am Carla. I am from Snooze Talks. I'm a pediatric sleep consultant. We'll wait for some more people to join. As I do with you guys, just with half an hour, just send in as many questions as you want about your baby sleep, and we'll try and get through as many as we can. Let's wait for a few more to join. So just type away with all your questions. While I'm waiting, if you guys want to, I'm doing some workshops with the Honest Midwife. So through Let's Talk Birth and Baby, if you're wanting to do some newborn sleep workshops, or 4 to 18 months, I'm doing workshops. They're going to be there every other week. So have a look on the website if you want to do anything like that. Get some more info. Hi, Samantha, and hi, Sadia. Where are all your questions? Okay, Samantha. So my little girl is 3 weeks old and finds it hard to sleep during the night. How can I get her to sleep better? So there's she is only 3 weeks old, and it's she's probably, I imagine, still going through the reversing of day and night. So it's important to get exposure to lots of daylight in the day, and then make it really nice and dark and wind down at night. And also just be aware of wake times. Don't keep her awake for too long, because what you're needing is for her to have some good naps in the day so then that she sleeps well at night. But be aware that you don't give her too much sleep in the day. So what you're aiming for, when she's only 3 weeks old, she'll only be able to stay awake for about 45 minutes to an hour. So work to those wake times, so across the day, and aim for about 5 to 6 hours sleep in the day. And that's how you can kind of structure your day. And then use, if you want to start practicing putting her down drowsy but awake, that will also help with her sleep as well. So if you get her drowsy but awake, and then trying really gentle settling approaches like shush pat, things like that. That's something I cover on the newborn sleep session. So if you want to join that, please do. Okay, we're in a good routine with our toddler, but how do we adjust to our sleep routine now that clocks are changing? So you can either ignore it and just let them adjust, and they will adjust, or you can work to just moving it 15 minutes every few days beforehand, so that they then adjust by the time they get to the actual time it changes. If you move their times 15 minutes forward, yes, forward, then you'll be at the new time. And then there won't be a problem. So, I mean, some babies are quite good at just adapting, or you can do it afterwards once the clocks have changed. You can just slowly move their times back. Okay, so what is a good wind down and bedtime routine for my 3 month old? So 3 months old, good wind down routine. You don't want to make it too long, and you should use a wind down routine for naps and bedtime. So with naps, you want to just a 10-minute wind down routine. So that could be just taking them, calming down, nice, change their nappy so that they're all clean before and going to sleep, and then just putting them into, whether they're being swaddled or a sleeping bag, and reading them, maybe reading a book, singing a lullaby, and then putting them into a sleep place. For bedtime as well, have a really nice bedtime routine that you just repeat every night. So that could be a bath, then get them dressed, or a baby massage first if you're going to include baby massage. Get them dressed, put them, if you're going to swaddle them or if you're putting them in a sleeping bag. then you can sing them a lullaby, and then that's kind of sort of routine that you want to do, and make sure that they're fed. And you can fit the feed in, where you can either fit the feed in, depends if you're wanting to disassociate feeding and sleep, or if you want to feed them. So if you want to disassociate feeding and sleep, once they're dressed, get them feed them. Or if you're happy to just feed sleep, then just do it at the end of the routine. My son is 9 months and still wakes up at night. He's up every 45 minutes for a snuggle at the breast. He will drink for about 2 to 3 minutes and then just falls back to sleep. I'm losing my mind with the sleep deprivation. Okay, so he's using the breast for comfort to get him back to sleep, because I'm assuming he doesn't have the skill to get himself back to sleep. So the first thing you want to do is try and teach him to self-settle. So there's loads of different approaches that you want to use. Just depends on what you're comfortable with, and just make sure that he's getting the right amount of sleep in the day. So you're aiming for like 2 naps. Across the day, you want maximum sleep in that day of about 3 hours. And then just use a settling approach you're comfortable with. If there's a bit of separation anxiety, then use an approach where you're in the room and you gradually get out the room, called look up gradual retreat. If you're wanting to do something where you come and go out of the room, then you can use something like that. It's really totally up to you, but that is how ultimately you're going to stop these wake ups. Because at 9 months, unless your doctor tells you, then they probably don't need to feed anymore. He's using it for comfort, if he's a good weight and everything. So we'll get it cleared by the doctor first. My 19-month-old wakes up once in the night. How do I try and get her to stop this? Hayley, I'd need to know what you're doing, how you're responding to her, because it depends how you're responding to her as to what, like, if you're responding to her, let's say feeding her, then she's going to continue waking. So it's a case of that, and also just trying to understand what her schedule looks like. So is she on 2 naps still, or is she on 1 nap? I just need to know more about her day, as well, and what time she's going to bed, to help you with that. It's also about how you're responding to her when she does wake. My 15-month-old is sleeping for over 12 hours at night, which is great, but he gets very grumpy in the day. Should he be having a nap as well? Just feel like he's sleeping more than awake. Yeah, 15 months old, even if they're getting 12 hours a night, they will still need a nap in the day, most of them. So as in, I wouldn't recommend they don't lose that nap until they're about after 2 years old. So definitely needs a nap. Aim for about 12:30. But it doesn't mean that he's having too much sleep if he has 12 hours. I mean, between 12 and 15 hours is the average at that age of how much sleep they need. So, sorry, 11 to 14 hours. So he is in the bracket. So if he had 12 hours at night and you gave him an hour and a half at lunchtime, or even 2 hours, he's absolutely fine. So yeah, I would still give him a nap in the middle of the day at 12:30. But amazing that he's sleeping 12 hours for you. Sarah, my 18-month-year-old uses her bottle as a comfort, so she wakes in the night at least twice per bottle. What do I do to get her to sleep through? At 18 months, you might want to get rid of the bottle, because she's using, as you said, the bottle for comfort. So you probably want to get rid of the bottle and use an approach where you offer the comfort at the beginning by going in, use something called gradual retreat, where you go in when she wakes up and you're basically teaching her to go back to sleep herself without the need for a bottle or for you eventually. So you look up gradual retreat, and that's probably the best approach. Because otherwise, she's learned that when she wakes, she needs the bottle to go back to sleep, so she's always going to continue doing it. My 17-month-old boy is 3 months. I think that's 3 months premature, and he still has a nap twice a day and wakes up at night. He's sometimes waking up at night every 2 to 3 hours, or sometimes sleep through the night. My question is, does he still need to have 2 naps a day? So it really depends. 17 months. So if you were going to take into consideration that he's premature, he's still in that bracket that he could go down to 1 nap in the day. So average age to drop to one nap is around 15 months. So I often see that if they're waking up in the night and they know how to sleep themselves, independently sleep, then yes, you would want to go down to one nap in the day. So the way that you do that, so it's quite useful for everyone to know how to transition to one nap. The easiest way to do that is keep the morning nap and keep shifting that morning nap later by like 15 minutes every couple of days until you reach 12:30. So let's say at the beginning you're at 9, like his naps at 9:30, for example. You're going to move that to 9:45 and then let him have as long as he wants at that point, so 2 hours, let's say. And then in the afternoon, just give him a 15-minute cat nap until you reach towards like more of the 11 o'clock-ish time. And then you don't need to do that cat nap and just give him an early bedtime. And then, so the aim is you're wanting him to have a 12:30 nap, 12:30 nap for 2 hours, up to 2.5 hours. But every kid's going to take different amounts. But I imagine that will stop wake ups at night if he knows how to sleep himself. Um, Kaylee, I think you've come back to me about I go and sit lay down with her to get back to sleep. No feeding the night, one nap a day, no later than 1 p.m. Routine at the night is dinner, bath, and bedtime, which has been the same since she's born. Woke up, we go up between 6:30 to 7:30. So I wakes up once in the night. So because you're going in and just lying with it, you need to start like once you need to gradually move out the room so that she gets used to if you sit and lay with her the whole time, she's always going to expect that. So you need to gradually move further out the room. I also move that nap a little bit earlier as well. Because I imagine if she's having her nap at 1 o'clock, let's say she finishes at 2:30, it's not a long enough gap. You want that the afternoon to be a little bit longer, the wake time between the nap and bedtime. So make it more closer to 12:30 her nap. But when you go in, respond to her, but gradually over the week, just try and move as you see her improving, get out the room, because otherwise you're going to be stuck in the room and she'll always expect you to be in the room. So my daughter is 2 and refuses to go to bed till midnight. How do I put her in the same routine as my older 2? They both go to bed at 7. She flat out refuses. So I would aim at 2 years old to have her in bed for about 7:30, 7:30. So take her up. So warn her beforehand. Don't just scoop her up and take her upstairs to start the bedtime routine. Give her a bit of warning that you're going to be going upstairs to bedtime. It's bedtime soon, and start the bedtime routine and do the same bedtime routine and get her involved. So what's next? It's a bath, and then just get her involved in the whole process. And yeah, just it's gonna she doesn't at 2 years old she will need to go to bed earlier. So it's a case of giving her a bit of a warning that it's soon to be. So otherwise, you're just scooping her up in the middle of play and she's going to get really upset about that. So just try and give her that warning that that's when the bedtime routine is about to begin. It also with Emma is it's going to take commitment and she'll just get used to it because going to bed at 12 is very late. So she'll just have to it's just going to take a lot of commitment by like taking her up at the 7 o'clock and doing bedtime. And make sure bedtime routine is only half an hour long. Don't make it go on forever. So maximum 30 minutes bedtime routine. My 10-month-old is falling asleep in the car on the way home from when I pick her up from the childminder around 4. It takes up us about 40 minutes to get home and then puts down around 7:30, but she still wakes at night. I keep her up later when we get home. Do you think this will stop her waking at night? So that 4 o'clock nap is probably, but if she's waking up at 4:40 and then going down at 7:30, that will disturb her night sleep. So is there a way in the car of keeping her awake, whether that's having the windows down, playing lots of music, is giving her a snack, as much as you can do talking to her. It's a case of just trying to keep her awake because that's a danger nap, and it will mean that I wouldn't keep her up later at night because her day is going to be super long, and then um, you're just going to have night disturbances because she's up late. So I would do as best as you can distraction and sing songs and windows down and try and just get her to stay up. My 12-month-old daughter has been waking during the night. She's been a great sleeper since 8 weeks, but now she can wake 3 to 4 times and cries. I go in and give her the dummy and walk out. I try not to interact too much with her. She will go back to sleep, but then wake again after an hour. So still having 2 naps during the day, about 3 hours. She goes to bed about 8 p.m. and wakes about 6 a.m. So my guess here is the dummy is what's causing the disturbances because she's expecting you to be her dummy butler, and every time it falls out, that you're going to go and put it back in. So you kind of have to make an agreement with yourself that you're no longer going to put her dummy back in. And what I would do is great way of just in the day, make sure that she's practicing putting in herself if you're going to keep the dummy, and scatter lots around the cot at the top of the cot where she sleeps so that she can just grab one if she wants to put it back in. But the dummy is probably what's causing it. At 12 months, completely normal to have 2 naps, absolutely fine. She might be having that little bit too much sleep. So you might want to cut the sleep down because you said she's having 3 hours. So you want to cut that down a little bit. So she's 12 months, so you're aiming for about 2 hours maximum. So you'll find if you give her a little bit less sleep, you might find those that her wake ups stop as well. But yeah, definitely scatter some dummies if you're going to keep them in the cot at the top of the cot, and she can just grab one because it's really hard in the middle of the night if you can't find them. My almost 3-year-old wakes up between 4 to 5 a.m. However, he naps at midday for up to 2 hours. Should I stop his naps or cut his naps down? I would start with cutting his naps down. So I would start by just doing an hour's nap. Some kids at 3 will drop their naps. Some will still have a nap and happily sleep through. But if she's waking at if he's waking at 4 or 5 in the morning, then yes, I would cut that nap down. And you'll probably find that wake up early rising. Emma, you're gonna have to use some sort of reward and incentive to get her going upstairs to bed if she can understand that concept. Also, if you do some sort of like visual thing of the stages of bedtime routine and get her involved in that, and so that so she can like see it visually what the steps are in the routine, and she's got to point to the next one, and then reward at the end that she did bedtime and get lots of praise. It's something you're just going to have to stick to get her to go to bed. It's a behavioural thing. Lucy, my little boy, is 4 weeks old and generally falls asleep after feed. When should we look at a bedtime routine as getting him to nap after the tea time feed is virtually impossible? So really, Lucy, it's up to you when you want to get him into a routine. Some people will do a routine from day one. That doesn't mean a timed scheduled routine. That means looking at wake times and getting them down for sleep at the right time. So if you want to aim for about an hour when he's at 4 weeks old, so have him awake only for about an hour and get him down for the next sleep. And that's how you can kind of get his day into a routine. And you're looking at about 5, 6 naps, maybe 5 naps at that age. But yeah, so I wouldn't. He's really young, but if you want to do it by wake times and watch for the sleepy cues to get him into a routine. My little one is 23 months, and ever since his 18-month sleep progression, unable to get him into a good sleep routine. If he has a daytime nap, he then won't sleep until 11. What do you advise? It's very young to give up a nap altogether. So when you say that he won't sleep until 11 and he's unable get into a good sleep routine, I first look at how are you getting him to sleep? Are you letting him fall asleep independently? So first of all, I'd work on the independent sleep skills. I'd suggest that he still probably does need a nap. He's very young to be giving up the nap altogether. And make sure he's going to bed around like 7, 8 o'clock. But make sure that he's got those independent sleep skills. Even if it's just an hour's nap in the day. Um, where were the other question? Okay, question from Facebook. My 13-month-old has started sleeping through the night. She's an empty cot, not even a cuddly toy, and uses a baby sleeping bag. When can we start using a pillow and light duvet? I wouldn't be using if there's no reason that she's sleeping through the night. I wouldn't be introducing a pillow and a duvet. I'd keep as it is in a baby sleeping bag. You kind of want to move on to a pillow and duvet when they move into a toddler bed when they're around 3 years old. So I would keep to what you're doing. If you've got her sleeping through the night, great. Why change anything if she's in a baby sleeping bag? Okay, so how can I increase nap duration? My 7-month-old only naps for 30 to 40 minutes at a time. Look, first of all, check at 7 months, you want to check that they're not going down overtired and equally undertired for their naps. So make sure that it's perfect spot on at the right time when they should be going down for a nap. And also how you're responding when they wake up, because it takes practice to get them to extend their naps. And are they self-settling? Because once they can self-settle, you can start linking sleep cycles together. And that's how you're going to see the longer sleep. At night, my 10-week-old will sleep for 5 hours, then wake for a feed, but will only sleep for 2 to 3 hours after. Okay, so I would question how much sleep is he getting in the day. At 10 weeks old, you're looking at about 5 hours sleep. So if he's having too much day sleep, that would mean that he could be maxed out by once he's had this 5 hours at night, he could be maxed out and doesn't need any more sleep. So try and make sure that he's getting the right amount of sleep in the day so that he takes good sleep at night. Any other questions? No? Oh, we've all gone quiet. Well, if I'll give it another couple of minutes and see if anyone has any other questions. Otherwise, we will leave it there. My 5-month-old daughter has around 4 30-minute naps a day and sleeps well at night. How can I get her to nap better in the day? So 5 months old, you're kind of wanting only about 3 naps in the day. So what you're wanting is and maybe a long morning nap, like you're wanting 3 hours total at least in a day, so 3 and 3.5 hours. But you're wanting the two first naps, you want them to be the longer naps, and the last nap of the day to be like a 35 40 minute cat nap. So that's how you want to structure your day. If she's getting just these short naps, you want to work on lengthening those naps, trying to teach her to self-settle. So first step is teaching her to fall asleep on her own, using a settling technique that you're comfortable using. And then just making sure that she's getting 2 good naps, 2 long naps, so they could be an hour and a half, up to 2 hours, and then that last nap, nice 35 to 40-minute cat nap to get her to bed. At 5 months, you're looking at about 2 hours, 15 wake times before between sleep as well, so kind of work to that, to make sure she's not going down overtired as well, because if you get her down overtired, she's gonna wake up after 30 minutes. Um, My baby is almost 3 months old and she is rubbing her face in the mattress almost every time when we put her to sleep. I need to know a little bit more detail. What do you mean? What's she doing? She should be lying on her back. Um, so is she turning her head? Is it disturbing her? In terms of a settling technique, there's loads out there. Um, Use something where if you want to be in the room, I don't give over on these chats exact step by step how to do it, self settling, because there's so much detail of what you need to do. If you want to talk to me one on one, and we can work together on that, but I don't think it's right giving step by step without having the specifics. So I can't give specific advice on each settling technique. But if you want to get in touch after, just drop me a message, and we can have a little chat. Any other questions? Give it another couple of minutes. No? Oh, okay. So she's a very melancholic, so she's used to sleeping on our chest. I would get that cleared by the doctor that they're fine with you putting her on her chest, and I speak to the doctor about it if there's something, or if she might be using it to settle herself. Without seeing visually what's going on, I can't really say, um, give you any advice on that. Oh, here's another one. How many hours sleep should a 7-month-old baby have? You're aiming for about 3.5 hours. A lot of them will be on 2 naps at this point, but it depends on how long they can stay awake for. Some might still be on 3, but yeah, you're generally looking for about 3 hours, 3.5 hours sleep. Every little one's slightly different. I think we'll leave it there then. Hopefully, you guys find that useful. And I'll be back on here. I'll be on Instagram next week, and then I'll be back on here the following week. So if you've got any other questions, join me and I will answer them for you. Speak soon.